Welcome to my channel. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about who list countries. So that's red list countries. If you are from any of these countries that are considered red list, what does this mean for you? What are the countries included? If you want to move to the UK, how can you apply for jobs? So this is for people who are nurses, carers, doctors, or if you're just working in health and social care, because there are so many challenges that people are facing with regards to this red list, green list, amber list, and what can you do, what can't you do. So that's what I'm going to be covering in this video. If you're new to the channel, you're welcome. It's such a privilege to have you here. If you're a returning subscriber, obviously I do appreciate the time that you take to watch these videos, and most importantly, I do hope that you're implementing everything that you're learning from this channel, because I know that there are many people who actually implement the things that they learn, and that is absolutely amazing. So if you haven't subscribed, you want to hit subscribe right now, turn on that notification button, because you want to be the first person to be notified every single time when I drop a new video on here. So we'll be talking about what these lists are, what it actually means for you if you're from any of these countries, and what is the best way for you to apply for jobs in the UK. And by the way, before I get started and before I forget, I'm going to be doing a live session at the end of this month where I'm going to be talking about career progression in the UK. Why should you be interested in career progression? If you're already in the UK, you're a nurse, you're a carer, you're a student nurse, you've been thinking of getting into nursing, why is this the best time for you to do so? If you're still out of the UK, why should you even consider moving to the UK? What are the career progression prospects that you can expect when you move to the UK? And why should you be interested? So if you check the comment section below, you're going to see a link to my newsletter. When you join that newsletter, then you will get the link to to join live and attend that live session. So it's going to be on Zoom. It's not going to be here on YouTube. So you need to join the newsletter to get the link to attend live. Also, if you've got a question that you think, oh my God, I want to ask Melvis this question, and you don't necessarily want to put it in the comment section because it's obviously visible for all, again, using my newsletter is quite a good way to then ask me that question, and I'll be able to reply to you. It's all then private. Also, I send loads of useful, helpful information about career progression in the UK, visa sponsorship opportunities, side business opportunities, online opportunities, so that you can continue to enhance your own skills, because I have a private coaching program where I support nurses, carers, student nurses with career progression in the UK. And that's why I'm very passionate about this particular subject. Being, an advanced nurse practitioner myself, it is something that is very close to my heart and very, very dear to me. So check the comment section and make sure that you join that newsletter, to be informed of all of that and to get into my world, really. That's what it's all about. So let's get started. What are these who list countries, and what does it actually mean? So WHO is obviously the World Health Organization. So they are the ones that introduced these red list countries. So World Health Organization obviously is completely responsible for this list. The UK has nothing to do with it, because I get messages from people saying, Melvis, is the UK short of nurses, carers, doctors, healthcare professionals? Why don't they just come out of the red list and recruit people normally? The UK does not have the power to do that, because this is decided by the World Health Organization, and the UK just has no choice but to do as they are told in this particular case. So if you're from a red list country, for example, examples of red list countries, you've got like Ghana, you've got Cameroon, you've got Nigeria, you've got, Pakistan, you've got Afghanistan. So if you're from any of these, red list countries, what happens is that you're not allowed to use a recruitment agency to move to the UK as a healthcare professional, obviously health and social care professional. You're not allowed to use a recruitment agency to move to the UK, but you can apply for jobs yourself. Why this is the case is because the World Health Organization has identified that the number of health and social care professionals in these countries are too low for the number of people that they need to care for, which means that you have fewer nurses caring for too many patients, or fewer doctors caring for too many patients. So that is not safe, and that is why the World Health Organization has put on these safeguarding measures to safeguard these countries, these developing countries, so that more developed countries like the US, the UK, Australia, Canada, they didn't just go to those countries and take all the staff. Because if that was not the case, I think a country like the UK, for example, seeing how short-staffed they are, they would just go and take all these nurses, carers, healthcare professionals and bring to their own country. So it is safeguarding for those countries. But the shocking thing that I find really is that many of the healthcare professionals in these red list countries don't actually have jobs. So it's a bit strange to me, but I completely get obviously why this is the case. So leave a comment in the comment section. Are you from a red list country? What has your experience been looking for a job in the UK? Have you found it easy? Have you found it challenging? Do you think that this has impacted negatively or positively on your ability to find jobs and move to the UK, or just to excel and thrive through this process? What have you found? Like I said, I've got a private coaching program where I support with career progression in the UK. So if you are, a nurse, you're a career student nurse, you want to get into nursing, you want those clinical, non-clinical healthcare jobs, then my private coaching program is something that would be perfect for you. Because look, I started my own journey in the UK, as a band one carer. I then, went to uni as an international student nurse, qualified as a nurse, and now I work as an advanced nurse practitioner for the NHS. I've gone through all those stages and the entire journey, and because I'm so passionate about it, in my program, I help, other colleagues to also achieve their UK career goals. So if you're a carer, you're thinking this, I want to do something else. What else can I do here in the UK? Then I can support you with that. If you're a nurse and you're thinking, oh my God, I don't want to be stuck at band 5 forever. I don't want to be stuck at band 6 forever. I don't want to be stuck at band 7 forever. I want to become a specialist nurse. I want to become a nurse anesthetist. I want to become a manager. I want to progress into even starting my own side business. Yes, your own side business, so you're independent and you can retire early. Then again, you want to check out a private coaching program. So start by joining that newsletter, and then take it from there. So incredibly, incredibly important. So like we were saying, they don't only have the red list countries, they also have green list countries. So if you're from the green list country, an example is like South Africa, Zimbabwe, as well as Zambia. So these are countries that are on the green list. And what this means is that, if you're coming to the UK from the green list country, you can either use a recruitment agency, there are no restrictions, or you can simply apply for the jobs yourself. So you've got the option to either use a recruitment agency or apply yourself. There are absolutely no restrictions at all. And that is why, it's a little bit easier for people who are from green list countries to move to the UK. So if you're thinking of nursing, for example, if you're a nurse, once you've passed your ALT, OET, and your CBT, then obviously you can then come through a recruitment agency if you choose to, and if you're from a green list country. So this is so, so, so vital. And I'm going to tell you one thing. Look, when they are considering green list countries, it is not your citizenship. It is not the country where you come from. It is a country where you're physically living. For example, if you're from Nigeria, for example, as in you were born a Nigerian or you were born in Nigeria, if you move to, say, South Africa, for example, then you're no longer considered as a red list. And that's because you're physically living in South Africa. If the opposite happens or the reverse happens, say, for example, you're South African, you're a nurse in South Africa, and then you decide to go and work, say, in Ghana, once you move from South Africa to Ghana, you're then going to be red list. So you then cannot use a recruitment agency. So it's not about your citizenship, it's about the country where you're physically living right now. So if you move from a red list country to a green list country, you're not considered green list, irrespective of your citizenship. Obviously, it's got nothing to do with citizenship. It's all about geographical location, where you physically live. So this is something that is very important. And by the way, if you're liking this content, I want you to like the video, because it lets me know that you're enjoying content like this and I should do more. Because look, I want to help you, I want to support you, I want to give you all the information that you need and that you deserve to have in order to succeed, thrive, and excel. Because when some of us were moving to the UK, I remember 10 years ago when I tried to move to the UK, look, I had no idea about any of these things. I knew absolutely nothing. I just went online. It was a massive struggle. And that's why when I see all these YouTubers and the information that people make, it is so amazing, because it makes life a lot easier for people like you now watching, that are coming behind us, that are already here and that have, had some of those experiences to share. And that's why, like, from my perspective, career progression is what I'm really, really interested in the most, and I'm really passionate about. So once you're in the UK, if you're watching this and you're already in the UK, you 100% need to join my private coaching program so that you can get information, you can get that support to progress in your career. Because look, Getting to the UK for me is not an achievement in itself. It is just a stepping stone for you to begin that journey of transformation that you need in order to excel. Because look, if you move as a carer and you're earning £20,000 per year, you're still going to be broke. You're going to be working so hard, but you will have no money. But if you're progressing in your career and you know that there's that hope of earning more, of being in a better position, working fewer hours, you feel more motivated. If you're a nurse and you're band 5, you don't want to stay band 5 for the rest of your career. You want to make sure that you're progressing from band 5 to band 6 to band 7, because not only does it help you earn more, but it gives you a lot of confidence, a lot of satisfaction, and many other advantages as well that you don't see until you're progressing. And that's why during this live session, if you haven't joined the newsletter, you want to make sure that you check the comment section below to join that newsletter, because that live session is going to be a must for you to attend. Whether you're still whether you're still out of the UK or you're already in the UK, it does not matter. You need to attend that session, because we'll be talking about career progression. Why is it important? Why should you be bothered? Why should you be interested? And why you must engage yourself to progress in your career as a matter of necessity and a matter of urgency. It is not a privilege for the lucky few, but it is something that you and I both deserve and should be striving and working, actively working towards. And that is why I'm sharing this with you. So again, like we were saying, they also have amber list countries. So they've got green list countries, they've got red list countries, and I've also got amber list countries. So who are the amber list? So amber list, these are countries that let's say, for example, they're on the red list, but they have been able to sign a bilateral agreement with the UK when it comes to recruitment. So what does this mean? I'm going to give you 2 examples of countries. We have, what are the countries actually? There's Nepal. So Nepal is on the amber list, and there's also Kenya. Kenya is also on the amber list. So these 2 countries, because they have special agreements with the UK, they were originally on the red list, but they've got special agreements with the UK. That means that the UK can actively recruit healthcare professionals from these 2 countries under the terms that have been agreed during that bilateral agreement or within that agreement. For example, let me give an example of Ghana, because recently the health minister in Ghana announced that they have signed an agreement with the UK where Ghana nurses are going to be moving to the UK to work under this special agreement. So for example, right now as we speak, Ghana is on the red list. So if this agreement was signed and everything agreed and all that, what would then happen is that Ghana would move from the red list where it is currently and go to the amber list. What this would mean is that active recruitment can take place from Ghana. So if you're a nurse in Ghana, what it will mean for you is that, and this is the amber list countries, this is the same thing with Kenya right now, as well as Nepal. So I'm taking Ghana as a practical example just to put this into context. So if that agreement is signed, everything goes forward. What it will mean is that if you're a nurse in Ghana, once you pass your ALT or OET, as well as your CBT, you've got 2 options to look for a job in the UK. Option 1 is to apply for jobs directly, to the UK organizations yourself. So if you apply for jobs yourself as a nurse from Ghana or from an amber list country, then that agreement does not apply to you. You just apply for jobs, you get it, you have a normal work visa, you come to the UK, you can live in the UK, permanently under the normal UK work visas, which means that you can live here permanently. But if you're a nurse in Ghana and you pass your ALT, OET, and your CBT, and you choose to use the government agreement to come here, then if you go through that pathway to come to the UK, which means that you don't necessarily need to apply for jobs yourself, but you can apply through the government agreement, which what happens is that sometimes they have like a particular hospital where people just apply directly, but you're not doing that on your own accord because you're going through the government. So once you do that, you're going to have a visa that is not going to be a normal work visa. It's going to be a visa that is going to be in accordance to that particular agreement. For example, the agreement that Ghana has signed says that when Ghana nurses move to the UK, they are going to work in the UK for 3 years and then return home to Ghana, which means if you move to the UK from Ghana through the government agreement, you will have to go back to Ghana after 3 years. Look, the same thing for Kenya as well. Many of these government agreements that these countries sign with the UK, they don't allow you to stay in the UK permanently. And this is why you need to be very, very careful when you're using these pathways. You need to be really strategic, because if you've got your family, you've got kids, you've got a husband, you've got a wife, you've got people they want to bring to the UK. If you're going to be going back after 3 years, what happens to those people? Because as the main applicant in the UK, the visa of your dependents is always obviously depending on your visa, which means if your visa expires, the visa is going to expire for the entire household. If you have to return home, the entire household has to return, because they've got that visa because of you. So this is the main reason why, if you're from an amber list country, you need to be careful whether you use the government agreement to come to the UK, or you find a job yourself as if your country was still on the red list. Which is the best option? I'm not sure. It's up to you as a professional. You will have to make that judgment yourself and decide what's best for you. I.e., if you want to go back to your country, fair enough, you can use the government agreement. But if you do want to stay in the UK, then you will need to apply yourself, because you're going to have a visa with different conditions, than, in terms of pay, it doesn't make any difference. You're going to earn exactly the same amount of money, whether you apply yourself or you come through the government agreement, because the UK pays fairly. Whether you've trained in the UK or you're an overseas nurse, the pay is exactly the same for all of us. So these are the main things to know about the whole list countries, the green list, amber and red list. It is your duty to know which country are you from, or do you live in, and what are the rules around recruitment from that particular country. And that is why I always say be careful with generic information on social media, because you need to be able to tailor the information that you have to your own specific and personal circumstances. That's incredibly important, and it's also part of that professional judgment that you would need to have as a healthcare professional, especially in order to make the best decisions for yourself. And so if you haven't subscribed to the channel, you need to hit subscribe right now. Turn on that notification button, because you want to be the first to be notified every single time when I drop a new video on here. Also join the newsletter, because I'll be sending you that information, and then you can also have access to attend that live session that I was talking about. But most importantly, if you need my support, then you need to be part of my private coaching program. Not only will I support you to get the best jobs in the UK, the highest paying jobs and career progression, but I'll be able to support you just with the entire journey, which makes it a lot easier. So keep watching the videos. I've done videos about, all kinds of things, visas, career progression, tips, side businesses, and just stuff like that. So you want to make sure you check that out. Keep watching the videos. I hope you found this helpful. What has your experience been? Leave a comment in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you, and bye for now.